Welcome back to another episode of Sports with Don, and I'm your host Ezra, aka the Don Mkhotsi. And I'm never alone. I'm with the big bro, the superstar LM10, aka Lumko Mntambo. And today's episode is about the next transfer window that's coming up. It's going to be a major one, both here in SA and also overseas. But starting here in SA, there's one team that's always spending, right? I think we already know who I'm talking about, Mamelodi Sundowns. And obviously, I think in the upcoming transfer window, they are definitely going to spend. We saw them going out of CAF in the quarterfinals, so they'll definitely want to spend so they could, go an extra step in that. And there's another team that needs to spend. They pretty much don't have a choice at this point, which is Kaizer Chiefs. Who will they buy? What will be their best buy? Will it be a coach or will it be a player? And also maybe a Super Sports, maybe your Cape Town Cities, and definitely probably Orlando Pirates also will be looking at buying certain players. But let me pose this question to you, my brother. Which team do you think will have the most impactful signing? Not specifically to say a player per se, but which team do you think will have one of the most impactful signings? But before you answer, how are you, man? How you been since our last episode?
Yo, yeah, we're back. We're back with another episode. This time we're talking transfers, at home and abroad. Before we get into it, I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. Since the last episode, I've been trying to get some sleep going, but yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, man. Obviously, Sundowns, with the firepower, the financial muscle that they have, they're gonna sign whoever they want. That's just the first thing. So Sundowns, whoever they want. I'm not even gonna try and name players. Whoever they want, they can sign. Kaizer Chiefs is the most expected club to sign for obvious reasons, because they have to sign. They spent a whole transfer window when they were banned and couldn't sign. So I see Chiefs making the most number of signings. I see a lot of departures from Chiefs. I see them making the right signings this time, I hope. We've heard the linking them with players like Jabulo Ngobo, some of the ex-Wits players, some Kwananzi as well. So I see Chiefs signing a lot of players. I personally hope we can land someone like Sipho Mbuli, who is one of my favorite players. So I hope Chiefs make all the right signings. Pirates, it's going to be a tricky one, because I feel their biggest signing might be a new coach. Not to throw any shots out there, but I feel like the biggest signing might just be a new coach rather than players. So out of the three big teams in South Africa, I see Chiefs being the most aggressive in the transfer market, because that's what the fans are rooting for. That's what we've been waiting for the past two transfer windows, which we didn't get because of the ban. So I see Chiefs being the most aggressive out of the three biggest teams in South Africa. And like I said, Sundowns can sign anyone. they have the financial muscle to do that. So yeah, but I see Chiefs doing the most in this up and coming transfer window locally.
You mentioned something I was not thinking, which was Orlando Pirates and their coach. Things are not really gelling well there, and the supporters are extremely not happy with how they've been performing, how the team plays. But we'll see how that pans out as the season concludes. But moving from our domestic league, going all the way to Spain at La Liga, let's just focus on Real Madrid and Barcelona. We know COVID has been horrible for them. Financially they are down to the pits right now, but they're still linked to world-class, high-class players. But my question is now, which players do you actually see ending up at these two teams, whether at Barcelona or Real Madrid?
COVID hit hard, bro. COVID hit hard for all teams in the world, and rest in peace to all the people who unfortunately lost their lives due to COVID. But going back to your question, between Barcelona and Madrid have for starters, invested heavily in building the new stadium. They are upgrading the stadium, the Santiago Bernabeu. So that's where most of the money will go to. But let's not forget who is the president of Real Madrid. We're talking about Florentino Perez, who is the godfather of football. And he literally came out in one interview that was about the Super League, of course. But he said in that interview as well, interestingly enough, I have been speaking to Kylian Mbappe a lot. So look out for that. That is a potential signing for Real Madrid, that he has personally been speaking to Kylian Mbappe. So we'll see how it unfolds. They've also targeted one of the two between Mane and Salah from Liverpool. So we'll see. We'll see how Madrid end up in the transfer market. But Ramos might leave. So they have a lot of key members of the squad rumored to leave. So Alaba from Bayern has joined. So he'll join at the start of the next season. Barcelona, I feel, again, the biggest signing might just be a new coach. That's the first thing they have to take care of, because I don't feel Koeman really fits into the philosophy or the brand of football that Barcelona is all about, or we've all grown to be accustomed to. So I think they're going to go ahead and look for a new coach that is a bit more suited to their style. And I think the most suitable candidate right now is Xavi Hernandez, the former midfield great and one of the greatest midfielders of all time, without a doubt. So I think Barcelona's biggest signing will be a manager, rather than looking to the transfer market for players. And I think should Xavi come in, he will look into the products from La Masia. That's where he came from as well. So he knows all about the Barcelona DNA, and I think he's going to try and implement it through his method, rather than forcing the club to go and spend money, because they've been spending money and it hasn't really worked out in the past few years. Dembele, for example, hasn't worked out at Barcelona. Coutinho, unfortunately. Griezmann, some may argue, is having his best season now, but if you look at his numbers for a player that was hyped up, it's not going well. They failed to replace Luis Suarez, so they've spent a lot of money and it hasn't really worked out for them. So I think between the two, I think Madrid is gonna have a bit of a bigger say. You understand? Because they've already bought Alaba from Bayern Munich, and if the president is talking to Mbappe, hey man, only a few people gonna say no to Paris.
Kylian Mbappe is an interesting one because, he has not signed a new contract yet. Neymar has signed a new contract at PSG, but he has delaying it a bit, so it could raise alarms between, obviously, Liverpool and Real Madrid. But moving away from Spain now, going all the way to Italy, we're just gonna mention one major player in Italy. I mean, obviously we hear the rumors about Lukaku, Hakimi, and all these players, but I want to focus mainly on Cristiano Ronaldo. Before the season concluded, obviously there was these rumors that if Juventus does not make it into the Champions League, he's gone, but they did. So now his mother came out and said she's gonna do everything in her power to get him back at Sporting Lisbon. How do you see that panning out, man?
Oh man, moms, am I right? Apparently moms always know best, so I think he one day, I don't see it happening in the next transfer window. I don't see it happening in the next transfer window, but one day, because he came out and said, I would love to end my career at Sporting. So I don't see Ronaldo going to Sporting right now. I don't see Sporting right now. Maybe in the next 4 years he might join when he's about to retire. But right now, I think he'll still move to a big club to try and achieve, because he's a winner. So I don't see him joining Sporting. No, not immediately.
Yeah, bro. I don't see Ronaldo going to Sporting now. Like you said, maybe 4 years when he wants to when he's close to retiring. I think that's when Sporting would become a real thing for him. But right now, he's still very much competitive. He probably still wants to win one more Ballon d'Or. So yeah, I also don't see him going to Sports. I think the mother is just wishful about it, because maybe it was because Juve were going through some rough patch, and she's like, you know what, my son, come back home and come retire here at Sports. But I don't think Ronaldo's ready to retire yet, so I also don't see him going to a Sporting Lisbon right now. But final stop, the EPL. We've seen a lot of transfer rumors going on, man. From your Harry Kane wanted to leave, well, now that's a fact. So if he wants to leave Tottenham Hotspur to go win trophies, but still wants to stay in England. Kun Aguero is going to Barcelona. United needs about like 3-4 world-class players for them to challenge Man City. Chelsea's probably going to buy a defender or striker because Timo Werner has not lived up to his expectations. Spurs obviously will be looking to replace Harry Kane. What other team am I forgetting? Oh no, that's it. We don't count Arsenal as a big team anymore. They are right there where they belong. Obviously, Liverpool. Who cares about Liverpool? But just to mention them because they're former champions. So they like a striker because they've been depending so much on Mo Salah, and Mane and Firmino have not really lived up to the expectation this season. I think they started dipping last season actually, in my opinion, but as just an outsider looking in. But you, as a Liverpool supporter and a fan, which players do you guys think you guys need in your squad to amplify it or make it better? Obviously, with Konate coming in.
Oh man, of course, trust the United fan to kick us when we're still down. To be totally honest, we've heard the links between Liverpool and Mbappe. Mbappe is a firm favorite of Liverpool. So we definitely do need a striker, make no doubt about it. I told you personally countless times that I would take an aging Cavani over Firmino right now because Cavani scores goals, you understand? And we've been lacking goals. If you watch Liverpool play this season, it hasn't really been that bad in terms of play. It's just that we couldn't convert our chances, and we need a striker. And right now, Mbappe would definitely fit the philosophy, the brand of football. But it's a stretch because Real Madrid is also, in the market for Mbappe. So besides Mbappe, I'm not really sure who we can get who will fit into the philosophy and play of our front three. Just like how Diogo Jota fitted in. So I hope we get Champions League football and we get Mbappe. Mbappe has to be our number one priority. And of course, like you said, Konate is Anfield bound. I'm happy for him, but I would have loved for the defenders that have filled in for Van Dijk and Gomez to be given a chance, man. Like Nat Phillips, I for one think he deserves a contract extension. He's been immense at the back. Kabak, he's cheaper than Konate. Davis, we haven't even seen Davis play, so I just hope those guys are given a chance rather than us going to spend more money on defenders. But you'll understand why Klopp would want to do that, because you saw the effect not having defenders has had on our season, which has been one to forget. So yeah, but on top of our list has to be a striker, and the name that has been mentioned on more than one occasion is Kylian Mbappe. So fingers crossed. We hope FSG can pull it off. We hope Michael Edward can, do his magic in the transfer window and bring us Mbappe to Anfield. So yeah, we'll see.
Hey, my bad, bro. My bad. But speaking of strikers, Sergio Kun Aguero has gone to Barcelona. So Man City will probably be looking to replace him with somebody. Harry Kane is available, but the only thing about Man City and Pep Guardiola is they never spend over 60M on a player. So how do you see them replacing Kun Aguero?
Kane to City. Like you said, Pep doesn't usually spend big on strikers. Defenders will spend big, but strikers, no. Kane, he said he's leaving Spurs at the end of the season, but he would love to stay in the EPL. So any team in the EPL will be happy to have Harry Kane in it, without a doubt. Do I think is the best fit for Man City? No. The brand of football that Pep plays compared to the one that Kane is accustomed to, oil and water, two different things, you understand? So I don't necessarily think Kane will end up at City. Maybe he might go to United, but if he goes to United, I don't know how long it's gonna take for him to win a trophy, man. Because let's face it, United the United kind of suck. But yeah, that's coming from a Liverpool fan. But yeah, man, I don't see Kane joining up City. Who will replace Aguero at City? I think he will go with what he's doing right now, like playing midfielders instead of a natural striker, like playing a false nine. That has been working well for him. So I don't necessarily think Pep will panic and say, I need a world class striker now to replace Aguero. No, I think he might continue with this newfound system because it's working. I mean, why fix it if it's not broken? At the moment, it's not broken. It's functioning very well.
Oh, we taking jabs now. It's fine. It's okay. But I also don't think Pep Guardiola will go for a Harry Kane. I also don't see Harry Kane coming to United, to be honest. But we're still at Man City, so I think Pep will continue with the whole false nine thing going on. But I do think he might probably go for a Gabriel Jesus like type of striker just to have the kind of backup in case the false nine does not really work and he needs to break down certain teams by having a target man. But yeah, I don't see them also buying Kane. I think Kane will probably be too expensive. He's British, man, but we'll see how that pans out. And crossing over to United, I won't even ask you about United because they're just gonna be taking jabs throughout. So I'll talk about United, right? So with us, we need I think I've identified 4 positions that we need to beef up on. But first thing that we need to do is take care of the goalkeeping position. We can't have Dean Henderson and David De Gea. One has to go. It's a split between obviously the fans. One want David De Gea. Dave saves all day. One wants Dean Henderson because he's an academic boy. But I personally don't trust Dean Henderson. He's like a Ben Foster to me personally. Don't attack me. That's just my opinion. I've just been seeing the way he dives when certain balls are hitting straight at him. And we saw the goal when Salah just came straight at him. He did not close no angle. He just waited for Salah to actually reach him and open up space. And at 24, 25, I mean, you should be already aware of certain things as a goalkeeper. But that's one area that I wanted to mention. And then obviously a centre back. Lindegaard is not working. Lindegaard is not working. Lindelof and Maguire is just not working. So we probably need a Varane, a Jules Koundé, and maybe even a Paul Torres. Paul Torres played wonderfully against us in the Europa League final. So a Paul Torres, Koundé, or Varane, I'll take any of them. I'll even take Koundé and Paul Torres in the same window. Just so that we have the kind of bag, because we can't trust Eric Bailly to stay fit the whole season. So those are the people I see at the back. And then obviously we need a defensive midfielder. McFred is not working. They don't know what they're doing there, honestly. I'm surprised that we came out number 2 in the league, but that's because all the teams are out of trash. All the teams are just trash. But I don't know how we ended up at number 2 with that central midfield pairing. So we definitely need a Declan Rice, a Basuma. If Partey was still at Atletico Madrid, I'll be may go for Partey. But then there's also a Ruben Neves from Wolves that we can go and get. But there's not been any word in terms of us buying a center defensive midfielder except for Declan Rice. So it's kind of worrying as a United fan. And obviously, I think the one that's major is Jadon Sancho again this season. So, I mean, I'm just gonna go on this mission. It kind of reminds me of Nicolas Gayton from Benfica years back. Wesley Sneijder years back. All these players get linked to United and never come. It's always personal terms agreed, but they never just pull up. But those are the areas that we need. I don't think we need a striker yet. I don't see us needing a striker since Cavani is still there. Martial is gonna be back. Greenwood is gonna be there. If we do get Jadon Sancho, then Greenwood will probably play more as a striker instead of a right winger. So we'll see what United board does. But moving right along to a Chelsea. Chelsea, they had a great transfer the previous transfer windows. Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, who scored in the Champions League final, Ben Chilwell, Thiago, Mendy. They've bought good players who Tuchel has combining pretty well. And I still see them probably buying a defender or a striker, but you as a outsider looking in, as a Liverpool fan looking in into the Chelsea setup, do you think they need any more players? Or they want to buy any more players?
Oh, I know. Thank you for talking about United. Imagine me talking about United. It wasn't gonna feel right because I hate you guys. But yeah, let's talk about Chelsea rather. I think on paper they've bought everyone that they needed. They have a very very good squad on paper. So it will depend on who Thomas Tuchel wants. So if he feels like, hey man, yo Abramovich, I think I need one more player or I need two more players to make my project complete. Because again, different managers, different philosophy. So it'll all depend on Thomas Tuchel and who he really wants to fit into his plans. But I don't necessarily think Chelsea are gonna go ahead and have an aggressive transfer window and go on and buy countless players. No, I don't see it happening. It will all depend on who Thomas wants, and yeah, but I don't necessarily think they will go out there and look for players as much as all the other top five clubs. Because, like you said, I mean, we're not gonna talk about Arsenal.
Bro, because nobody really cares about Arsenal, dog. But banter aside, I think for Arsenal, I'll just quickly touch on them, right? I think for Arsenal, maybe they need to start from scratch. Aubameyang and Lacazette, they need to cash in on them. Use your Thomas Partey, use your Sarkis to rebuild the team. Use your what's the left back they have? He's a good left back, man. That guy, I forgot his name now. But use those players, to like rebuild your team. Get rid of your Williams. They're old, man. Like, get these young guys in. Arteta needs to start from scratch. Like, he needs to do the hard work and get rid of the dead wood. And I think if they do trust their process, eventually in like 5, 6, 7 years, they'll be challenging again for the top 4. But right now, it's just downhill for them. Last season they just got into a Europa spot because they won the FA Cup. This season, did not even get into the new this new conference called the Europa Conference League. They couldn't even get into that. So for a team like Arsenal, that's bad. So they need to get rid of the dead wood and start from scratch. But enough about a team that nobody really cares about. Let's go to the other side of London where we talk about Harry Kane. I think we've mentioned Harry Kane a lot in the EPL segment of it, but he's the top goal scorer. He is the top assister this season, so obviously he is new. So him saying he wants to leave Tottenham Hotspur is major. Every team is on alert. I think he'll go to Chelsea. I just see it happening. I just see Roman Abramovich just being like, cash in. Because I don't see United going for a striker. Like we said with Pep Guardiola, he doesn't really spend a lot of money, especially if you think of Harry Kane, you think about 100 million plus. So where do you see Harry Kane ending up?
Hey man, it pays to be English, right? Of course, Harry Kane is gonna cost ridiculous amounts of money. He scored a lot of goals, so some could say it's justified. Chelsea, Harry Kane, Chelsea. Like I said previously, man, it will depend on how Tuchel is feeling. If he's feeling him, then yes, he could ask Abramovich, yo, hand me a couple of M's and I can get my striker. But my gut feeling is telling me Kane will end up at United. It's almost as if it's written in the stars for him that he will most definitely end up at United. So if you had to sit down with Harry Kane and ask him, where do you prefer to play, he'll pick up his hand and say, let me join United. I don't think the other big teams Kane will really fit into them. I don't see him fitting in Liverpool, for example, because like I said, the philosophy, we don't play the same brand of football that he's accustomed to, and if he had to be forced into the squad, it wouldn't really work. Chelsea, it's down to Tuchel. Man United, big chance they will end up in Man United. Big chance. City, again, philosophy. So the only outright team that Harry Kane can, end up at is, for me personally. I think United, but we'll see. And man, let's just wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching up until this point. It's been lovely being with you. Until next time.